Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to wait a second. I think I'm streaming. There we go. I'm streaming this video this morning because I can't take the time to process and everything that I usually do. So I wanted to stream live for you guys instead. And this is going to be one of those rare videos where honestly, I'm showcasing other people today because there are some people that I follow for news and they are fantastic and they have summed this up, what I'm trying to tell you guys, better than I ever could have dreamed. So this is one of those times where I'm collating a lot and I don't have a ton of time, so I'm going to try and go through it quickly. But I need to go through this thread from at Dave NYVIII. If you're not following this amazing gentleman on Twitter, I strongly recommend you do. He's from the Conservative Treehouse. I've talked about that website several times, making this bigger for you folks so you can see it better. I also follow at The Last Refuge too, because that's another amazing account. Stealth Jeff, which is Draw and Strike, Imperator Rex. They all do fantastic, detailed, sourced work. And I think they're a huge asset to us. And they also, these two actually, Trump Soldier and Last Refuge, write for the Conservative Treehouse. So I wanted to go through this thread on Horowitz, the the Inspector General, so that you guys have an idea of what might possibly be happening and have some background. So I'm going to go through this entire thread from him. And hopefully this helps with the next two pieces that I'm going to present to you guys. Inspector General Michael Horowitz's war versus the Obama administration. Interesting. Obama nominated Michael Horowitz in July of 2011 to fill a vacancy left open by the resignation of Glenn Fine in February. Mr. Horowitz was confirmed in March the following year and sworn in on April 16th, 2012. And the link to this is presented. This is why I love this stuff, because he sources everything for you. The threads are detailed and so full of knowledge. I mean, I love it. I love it. It was a nomination Obama would come to regret. Horowitz inherited a position that was effectively neutered in 2011 by Eric Holder's interpretation of the Inspector General Act of 1978. And he puts a link to the act itself, which we are not going to go through right now. Holder and his legal team determined that the IG had to request information. This allowed Holder and other agency heads to bog down IG requests in bureaucratic red tape and in some cases deny them outright. So basically what they did was they handcuffed the IG to actually do his job. They required the IG to ask permission for things for them to look at that they were investigating. So they're basically asking the investigator, I mean the subject of the investigation, if they can have documents that they're using to investigate that person. Crazy. What caused Holder to make such a drastic move to block the IG in 2011? Fast and furious. Corruption to the core, guys. Corruption to the core. My volume is up pretty much as long as it could be, as loud as it could be. I can't really raise it more. I'll pop. Michael Horowitz was a lame duck on day one. What did he do? He methodically went to war. One might call it a war of independence because that's exactly what it was. Shots fired. March 5th, 2013. The Inspectors General prepared a report for Congress titled Open and Unimplemented IG Recommendations. This report drew attention to the stonewalling by focusing on the money being wasted, but it was much more than that. So in other words, the Inspectors General office wrote a report on how the extra steps that the IG needed to go through with personnel, etc., to be able to get the people they were looking to oversee, to provide them with the information they needed to do their oversight, was a money waster. So Horowitz decided to go into a different lane to invest, to get his point across and to maybe change it. So he tried to do it with government reform and budget. Michael Horowitz laid the Obama admin bare before Congress. These two charts from the report illustrate an administration that was wasting money at an alarming rate just by ignoring the inspector general. So you can see the amount of dollars that go from making the inspector general turn their wheels. Why even have an inspector general? Why? Why? Horowitz was laying the groundwork for an alliance with Congress, an alliance that would pay off in his quest for independence, which he's supposed to have. He would supply them with information and appear at hearings to publicly make his case, an inside-outside approach. The balance of 2013, the DOJ IG bid his time and did the best he could under the circumstances. Here he is back here. He would strike again on April 3rd, 2014 at the end of the DOJ budget hearing. In other words, he's waiting now. He's been doing this for a long time. A long time. As he is called to testify, Holder walks by him without acknowledgement. He is a proverbial thorn in the side, and we're going to play that for you guys right now. Here he is. Let's watch Holder. Here's Holder. He walks right past Horowitz, doesn't even pay any attention to him. Interesting. His opening statement is 5 minutes. He spends the first 3 of it discussing his organization before getting down to brass tacks. Let's go through that. Shoot, there's no volume, huh? Ah, goodness, this is why I hate live streams, but I just don't have time to process a video. All right, well, basically in here, he's asking for, I linked the video in the description box for you. I linked the thread. He's saying that they need to be providing him with the documentation that he needs to be able to do his job, and they're not doing it. And then next we have what ensues is a series of questions that are budgetary in nature, with the exception of the line of questioning pursued by Senator Shelby. Shelby is in the minority as Obama has not yet lost the Senate. Shelby's time is limited. Watch how both he and Horowitz work together. And sadly, you're not going to be able to hear it, but it's a 2-minute and 10-second clip where they basically bounce off of one another. And they're setting each other up to be able to get to the end goal. Foreshadowing. Horowitz and Shelby reveal the legislative end game. And it says, keep this clip in mind as things unfold. I'm so frustrated right now. In watching the hearing, I found it interesting how the room cleared out and Horowitz was alone with just his team, a man on an island. August 5th, 2014, reinforcements arrived. In an unprecedented letter to Congress, 47 IGs blasted the Obama admin for serious limitations on access to records that impedes their investigations. Note, other agencies were adopting Holder's position. And here's the letter. It's long. He provides a link. He says, the undersigned federal inspectors general write regarding the serious limitations on access to records that have recently impeded the work of inspectors general at the Peace Corps, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Department of Justice. Each of us strongly support the principle that an inspector general must have complete, unfiltered, and timely access to all information and materials available to the agency that relate to that inspector general's oversight activities without unreasonable administrative burdens. Basically, they're making this IG jump through hoops to do his job. Jump through hoops. And they're pissed off about it. They're saying none of the IGs under the Obama administration can actually do their job. and they're pissed. September 4th, 2014, the turning point. On September 4th, Horowitz finally secured a congressional oversight hearing for the inspectors general. Issa called the hearing and is the chair. The R's have the House. Here is his opening statement, which you can hear if you go to this thread and take a look. Obstructing oversight, concerns from the inspectors general, the legal document of record where Michael Horowitz expertly lays out his case against the Obama administration. Note the execution. And you can read that full document here. He's basically going after the Obama administration using Congress, and there is no denying it. No, that I don't have mods because I don't do this often, and I trust you guys to be, respectful human beings to one another. And anyone who's saying there's no volume, I don't know why, because everybody else can hear me. And my mic is not muted. Where it all began, Fast and Furious. IG Horowitz details the obstruction of Holder that began with his investigation into Fast and Furious. Independence compromised by the Obama administration. Note how Horowitz correctly attaches his fight for independence to the will of Congress being subverted. So he's basically working with Congress to try to affect change. Less than 2 weeks later, the inside game begins to pay off when Issa introduces H.R. 5492, Inspector General Empowerment Act of 2014, as the 113th Congress winds down, a major victory for Horowitz in his war against the Obama administration. In November, Obama loses the Senate, and the 114th Congress convenes. Shortly thereafter, on February 26, 2015, Chuck Grassley introduces S-579, the Inspector General Empowerment Act of 2015. Horowitz's alliance with both houses of Congress is now firmly cemented. The last gasp of the Obama administration. On July 20th, 2015, the DOJ Office of Legal Counsel issued a ruling against the IG position. The OLC provided Holder and the Obama admin with their initial legal argument. And he's basically saying it's mumbo jumbo and it's 68 pages long, but if you wanted to, you could read it. Going for the kill. August 3rd, 2015, Michael Horowitz brings the full weight of the inspectors general into the fray, blowing out the 68 pages of mumbo jumbo with just 2.5 pages of legal argument. Full doc is 5 pages, 2.5 pages of which are signatures. And if you read this, he basically takes every point that the Obama administration was trying to push forward and he destroys every single point. Well, they do anyway. This is all the IGs. Michael Horowitz radio interview, August 12, 2015. A confident Inspector General Michael Horowitz takes to the airwaves to publicly discuss the OLC ruling. And then victory. December 7th, 2016, Jason Chavez introduces H.R. 6450, Inspector General Empowerment Act of 2016. Democrats in both houses concede, and the bill swiftly passes on voice votes, forcing a defeated lame duck President Obama to sign it into law on December 16, 2015. Inspector General Michael Horowitz waged a war of attrition and independence against a corrupt, tyrannical Obama administration from day one. He forged an alliance with Congress and, using an inside-outside game, went from an empty hearing room at budget meeting to freedom. Inspector General Michael E. Horowitz is a reformer and a fighter. I cannot spare this man. And then there is a link to the forthcoming IG report. So if you think about it, guys, you can say he's deep state, he's from the Obama admin, he's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. But I've been following along with what Michael Horowitz has done since his time back then. And the actions that he's taken have a tendency to lean towards transparency. And the fact that he's been doing this, since January of 2016, he's had this investigation into all the nonsense. He's doing his oversight, right? And this was his goal throughout, is to get transparency. He was handcuffed in his job. Imagine how frustrating that is. He's frustrated, and you can see it when you read and when you listen to the testimony, which I implore you to do on Dave's thread. I linked it in the description box below. Let's fast forward to yesterday. He responds to the letter about the Stroke and Page texts, and I'm going to read the letter really quickly. And he says, Dear Chairman Johnson and Grassley, thank you for your letter dated January 23rd, 2018, in which you requested information regarding the Federal Bureau of Investigation's preservation of text messages for FBI employees Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. You requested a response by January 29th, 2018. I understand that in this letter, you dated January 19th, the Department of Justice reported that the FBI's technical system for retaining text messages sent from or to FBI-issued mobile devices failed to capture the text messages between Mrs. Page and Mr. Strzok during the period from December 14th to May 17, 2017. The OIG has similarly been advised by the FBI that this failure prevented the FBI from producing the OIG text messages between Mrs. Page and Mr. Strzok during the period from the 14th of 2016 to May 17th, 2017. Now, the OIG had initially said they had those messages. So he goes on to say, the OIG has been investigating this matter and this week succeeded in using forensic tools to recover text messages from FBI devices, including text messages between Mr. Strzok and Ms. Page that were sent or received between December 14th and May 17th. Our effort to recover any additional text messages is ongoing. We will provide copies of the messages that we recover from these devices to the department so department leadership can take any management action it deems appropriate. Proceeding in this manner is consistent with the OIG's process for handling department information. As I've noted with respect to other department information produced to the OIG by the department as part of our review, I would have no objection to the department providing its own records to your committees in response to a congressional oversight request, should department leadership deem it appropriate to do so and consistent with applicable law. I look forward to providing the department, Congress, and the public very, very, very awesome, and the public, with a report detailing our findings, which will be responsive to additional questions in your letter as soon as our work has been completed. We would also be pleased to discuss with your committees whether the OIG has the necessary authorities, resources, and capabilities to obtain this type of evidentiary information. Sincerely, Michael Horowitz. So Dan Bongino his podcast has been off the charts amazing. So I've been listening to it every day. And he surmised a few days ago that the story that the text messages were missing was actually kind of a ploy and wasn't actually the truth the entire time. They had the text messages. Somebody said to Strzok and Page, you guys better get rid of those text messages. They did. That person leaked to the press that the text messages were missing. And then off we go into down the rabbit hole of trying to catch who the leaker is and why they would say that and why they would delete them after the fact. And then we have this letter, which is very long, but the crux of it is basically this letter is from, it's to Christopher Wray, and it is from Chuck Grassley. So what they do here is they break down some of the text messages and the conflicts of interest and the things that they knew before. They talk about dates. They talk about the Committee on the Judiciary and what they're doing. They're conducting oversight of the Department of Justice, FBI, and their investigation of classified information on former Secretary of State Clinton's private email server. And now remember, there were like 8 investigations running in tandem with one another at the same time. So there's the investigation into Clinton's emails. There's another investigation into Clinton's emails. There's an investigation into Uranium One. There's all kinds of stuff going on right now. So Grassley, pulling punches in the Clinton investigation, he basically says February 25th, 2016, Strzok and Page discussed via text how many personnel from the DOJ and FBI would be included in the Clinton investigation and what the best ratio should be. And what they're basically doing here is asking, they discussed a special counsel for the investigation. When was the investigation? When was it determined that there would or wouldn't be a special counsel investigation? When did they talk about it? Why were they talking about a special prosecutor and why was no one else aware? When did they decide against it? Why are they texting with Bill Clinton in regards to that? And why is Bill Clinton nervous? What are the discussions regarding Loretta Lynch and her involvement? It is a very, it's, they tiptoe around saying that they did anything wrong, but they say it looks really bad. Listen, they're doing, they got to do what they got to do public facing, but these text messages are basically the crux of so many things, and not just to pin it all on Strzok. You can't pin it all on him and Page, because if you think that Comey had no idea what was going on, you're out of your mind, right? He absolutely knew what was going on. He was the director. And if you think that the fact that they're texting with former President Bill Clinton about this stuff is outside of the realm of crazy, you're wrong on that too. Why is Bill Clinton texting people about this investigation? Why did Bill Clinton get on the plane with Loretta Lynch? Good questions. We know that what's going on here. We know now that Lynch knew before she said in public that she was going to accept the FBI's investigative decision on what was going on with Clinton, whether they should continue with the special, or whether they should continue, or if there were charges there. She was going to accept the FBI's decision on that. And we know that she knew already that the FBI was going to recommend that they didn't investigate. Her statements before and after about how important the integrity of the Justice Department is to her. What's really important here, guys, is not, it is that the intelligence agencies were weaponized against the president during his campaign, the president while he was in transition, and the president now today. What's important is that we had a dictatorship behind the scenes for God knows how many years, deciding who the president would be. And this time they didn't get their way. This time they didn't get their way. And then they had to go back and cross their I's and dot their T's. And they had to come up with they had to come up with a reason for their investigation after they had been after they'd been spying, after they'd been doing all that stuff. They had to come up with a reason. Bill Clinton. Kitty, thank you for the super chat. That's really, really nice of you. I'm always amazed. There was another one for 5 from Ghost Delta. Thank you so much. Thank you. They had to go back after the fact to figure out why they were investigating, why they were spying. And the 99-page FISA, information that is on the OIG website, or the DNI website, the ODNI website. Bill Priestep. No. Hold on. Let me see. I might be wrong. Hold on. I make mistakes. See, here they say, let me just explain to you why I think they're talking about Bill Clinton. Further, Attorney General Lynch's meeting on the tarmac with President Clinton days before Comey announced his decision not to recommend charges was described by Comey as the moment that capped his decision to publicly announce the closing of the investigation due to concern about Lynch's independence. In public testimony, Comey voiced concerns that Lynch required him to refer the Clinton investigation as a matter, a term that matched the public position of the Clinton campaign. On March 18th, 2016, Strzok and Page engaged in a discussion about the possibility of a special counsel in the Clinton investigation and referenced Patrick Fitzgerald, who was the special counsel in the plane matter. Maybe you're right. It is Priestep. My bad. I apologize for that. They're talking about Bill Priestep, not Bill Clinton. See, that's why I need you guys, because you're smart as hell. Smart as hell. So, this whole thing is coming down. The whole thing is coming down. We're going to get the memo. We're going to get the information. It's coming out. It's coming out drip, 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 drip. Yesterday, they leaked a story last night, supposedly a story. Oh, Trump tried to fire Mueller back in July, but they wouldn't let him. They said the White House counsel said they'd walk out. White House counsel said they'd walk out if Trump attempted to do that. Well, then why did it take 6-8 months for that story to come out? They're losing it. They're completely losing it. And now, we've got, I just sounded like Glenn Simpson, Now they've got Feinstein and Schiff saying, we're going to release a memo to counter the memo. And the memo that they're saying they're going to release counters the Republican memo based off all the information they've viewed in the skiff. But if that memo is a nothing burger, like they're trying to make us believe, then why do they need a counter memo in the first place? They don't. So we've got the text messages. Again, I've got some commentary in here, but really, really follow these guys. They do such good work. I am I'm just overwhelmed with how amazing it is. It is so, and here they come out with the story. I didn't tell them to fire Mueller. Anyway, it's so detailed. It's so detailed and well sourced. I mean, if the whole Twitter thread is like this. His whole Twitter thread is just a beauteous display of knowledge. January 23rd, Ray is going to clean clock using the IG report. I mean, if you want sourced information, video clips, they're painstaking to put together. I mean, the time that this guy puts into this stuff, all of them, I feel like I'm kissing their ass, but to be honest, they deserve it. Because when I have holes, because I spend a gazillion hours doing this stuff too. When I have holes, you know where I go? Those guys. They fill them in. They're great. They're great. Now, at the end of this quick live stream, I want to tell you guys about something. There's almost 3,000 of you watching right now. Holy moly. I'm humbled by all of you. My gosh. I hope that I'm relevant for you guys, and I hope you appreciate the broadcast. Thank you, Lucky. I hope you guys appreciate this. I really do. I work really hard for you, and I'm going to continue to do it. Yes, I'm talking about Trump Soldier. So I'm about to end this, and I wanted to make it short because I have to run out. And it is my 10-year anniversary today. Thank you for the super chats, guys. I'm married for 10 years today, and that blows my mind. But Mr. Beans really takes care of me, and he's a wonderful man. And I love him with all my heart and soul, and we have a fantastic relationship, and he puts up with my craziness. So I want to spend the day with him because he's fantastic, and I'm very lucky. Very lucky. So anyway, I put out a call the other day because I think that all of us are really sick and tired of sitting behind our keyboards, and we're fired up. Oh gosh, you guys are too much. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're fired up, right? We're fired up. We've got this fire in our bellies. We're so sick and tired of dealing with all the nonsense. We're so sick and tired of having to watch the craziness on the other side of the aisle with the people that are really extreme, going out in their pink hats because they somehow think that the president of the United States is some misogynist, racist, horrible, woman hater, right? We're fired up. And so I decided that I wanted to try and plan a march. Because I think that at this point in time, there are millions of people out there that are so fired up that they will take a few of their dollars invested into going to DC and spend some time in DC getting to know fellow patriots on a nonpartisan level. Progressives and independents and Republicans and people who may not have even voted for Mr. Trump the first time around, President Trump the first time around. And we decided that we're going to do it. We're going to have a march. And I hope that all of you guys come out. And it's going to take a whole lot of time. to plan the right way, we're going to do it. It's going to be in April. And I started working with an amazing group of folks last night. And I hope that I can count on all of you guys to take a trip to Washington, D.C. and spend some time with us while we show that there are many of us who will come out in force and demand transparency and justice from our government. And even if it accomplishes nothing other than all of us getting together and showing people in Washington that there are tens of thousands of us, if not hundreds of thousands of us, who want to get together in one location and will take the time to do so out of their schedules, I think it'll be worth it. So that's what we're doing. I want to go through the super chats really quick. Oh my God. Barbara B, thank you so much. Sierra, my girl, I know who you are. I hope you're doing some good work today. Thank you so much. George, thank you. Mike B, amazing. Vicky, Jamie, and Mr. Nicktown. You guys are all fantastic. It's not a necessity to give me a super chat, guys, but I really appreciate them. Barbara, thank you. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. I've got a goal and a dream to do this, and I'm trying to work towards it, and you guys who are supporting me really help me. And now that I am done with this video, I will say, if you appreciate the work I do and you'd like to become a patron, I really would be honored to have you. You can find me on patreon.com/TracyBeans with a Z. Jason, my goodness. I am wearing a red sweatshirt right now, and I got to say, I'm about the color of this sweatshirt right now. So I'm going to go before you guys keep pouring money into my super chats. I appreciate all of you so much. I really do. My PayPal's in the description box. My Patreon's there. Links to these amazing guys. They take contributions for their work too. And I really want you guys to go to them and support them because, it's really hard to get straightforward journalism nowadays that's actually factually based. I love all of you guys. 2,700 people watching me. I can't even get over that. Have a fantastic day. Much love to you. Stay focused and let's affect some change. Let's get this crap out in the open. Let's get some stuff done. Talk to you soon.